Hey there, Munchie Mafia. Happy Christmas and happy Yule and happy Hanukkah. We will be making some truffles. And there's a little story that goes along with this. So let's get to it. So again, we have Lake Mitchell in the middle of the kitchen. So we're doing another yet another no bake. Um, we have three different kinds of chocolate. We've got bittersweet, we've got semi-sweet, and we've got white chocolate. And I have one of those rotary shredders, and I just hand cranked it through there. So now we got chocolate dust and white chocolate curls and little chunks of the semi-sweet. Um, Wait a minute. Yeah. So there's 11 ounces of the bittersweet chocolate. There is 4 ounces of the semi-sweet and 3 ounces of white chocolate. So that's what we're going to be starting with in just a moment. Now, in our pot, what we're going to do is we're going to get our little surprise. Now, there's a little bit of a story that goes along with the truffles, and some people have heard of it, but you may not have. So I'm going to read the story about how this truffle recipe came to be. And it's kind of funny. And hopefully, oh, I lost it. Hang on a sec. I'm a dingling. Okay, so originally this recipe was made with 99, which at the time, 99 was fairly new. It was back in 2000, and the flavor that they had was banana. Um, Now they got a whole bunch of different flavors, and sometimes I make the banana ones, sometimes I make the orange ones, sometimes I make the cherry ones, and so on and so forth. But it originated with the 99 banana liqueur. Now, if you've never had that before, that stuff will F your day up something fierce. And that's basically what happened. So, how this holiday tradition started and when did it actually start? Christmas Eve 2000, from the original text on my past website. There is a tradition with this recipe. It all started out with a friend of mine and I. We were getting the house ready for a Christmas party, and she greeted me at the elevator, almost toasted from 99 Bananas liqueur. Gotta love her though. She's a sweet lady, and I miss her and her husband dearly. Just one little phrase came from her mouth. Do you like bananas? She slurred. Well, yes, I do. Why do you ask? Before I could get the sentence out, I was slugging down this ultra sweet libation directly from the bottle before I could even get my foot out of the elevator. The tradition is when making this particular recipe, you got to test the liqueur for quality assurance. Now, we're not using 99, we're actually using this. I saw this at the store and I had to get it. It's Crown Royal and it's the blackberry flavored whiskey. Now, one of the things about the 99s is it's so sickly sweet, and somehow I cannot manage to put it into the shot glass. So first off, you pour this booze and you test it for quality assurance. Oh, that went up my nose. Holy hell. Okay. Wow. All right. Got to test the liqueur for quality assurance by getting out a shot glass. Then you start with the recipe before you put the liqueur into it. Another test to make sure it hasn't gone bad since you opened the bottle. It doesn't go bad. It's just an excuse to get kicked in the pants. Now, mind you, this was a repost from back in 2000, word for word. There's a lot of typos in here. I'm more than certain that I typed this out while I was just totally trashed. So, while it's all incorporated and you're pouring it into the bowl, you have a toast to the wonderful truffles and, yes, another shot. After it's gone into the bowl, you put it into the freezer to let it harden just enough to be able to scoop it out of the bowl to form into the truffles. While you're waiting, why not have another shot? By the time all is said and done, you've forgotten that the bowl is in the freezer, it's thoroughly frozen, and well, you have one more shot while it's being brought back up to a workable temperature. Now, the problem with this is that the last time that I did this, um, it was kind of funny. So it was a friend of mine, a different friend of mine, who I no longer speak to. It's been a very long time. I don't even know what she's doing or where she's at anymore. To be honest, I don't even really remember her name. And so far, so and so crawled upstairs to put a dot of truffle onto so and so's nose, but he intercepted eagerly, taking it into his mouth, her finger, which was coated with the lovely chocolate spot of heaven. Timmy is still at work and afraid to come home, but we have yet to forget about the Swedish meatballs in the oven, although while I'm typing this, so and so is reminding me to get up off my drunk ass to go check the meatballs that are in the oven. And oh fark. We are snackered, but best wishes to all and to all a good night. Now, what actually happened with that batch is that we left it in the freezer and forgot about it until the next day because we were too trashed to even remember these truffles. So I had a hangover for 2 days, and I decided I'm never doing that again. So that's why we're switching to Crown, because at least I know my limitations on that one, at least somewhat. So without further ado, we're going to want 1/2 of a cup of the blackberry Crown. Okay, I think. So, oh no, I'm sorry, quarter cup. Quarter cup. Okay, so do. And it's got to be pretty exact, or else you're just going to be fighting with it. All right, quarter cup. Dump it right into the pot. And now we're going to put this on the stove and let it get to a very, very light steaming. So we're going to turn it to 6. Now, we're going to get the heavy cream, which is actually a 1/2 cup. That's where I went wrong. All right. Going to need a whisk and also 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar what I usually do is I'll take the sugar and I will just add it to the chocolate and give it a stirry stir. And what we're doing is while we're doing all this cooking stuff, we're actually watching Minorcan Mullet. He's doing a live right now with Derica's Food Boat, and they're out with Santa Claus on a fire truck, and they're passing out stockings and teddy bears to the children. Okay, well that's doing its thing. We're gonna come back over here, and we're gonna mix this all together. But wait, there's more. After this, we're gonna work on some meatballs. But I don't want to bore y'all, so we're going to actually separate it into 2 separate videos. So that if you want to watch this, you can watch this. If you want to watch that, but not this because you really don't want to deal with this sort of thing, then you can just go and watch that instead. So this or that or both, right? Normally we would be doing these live, but out of respect to Andy and Derek, we are just going to quietly post these videos. Okay, so this is all thoroughly combined. As you can see, we're on this camera. Yeah, that's all thoroughly combined. Now we're going to take this, need a whisk. Need a good whisk. This one's not a good whisk. This one is just an okay whisk. I don't like that whisk. It's one of my regular household whisks, so this one's a little bit better. All right. So we're just waiting for this to get all nice and warm. We got a little bit of movement in the pan. Forgot to turn the light on. Oh, I'm too short. Oh, well, maybe I can reach that. Got the light. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we got some movement in here. So now we're going to add the heavy cream, and we're going to let that come back to steaming. Give it a stirry stir. There's a lot of surface area, so it's not going to take much at all to get going. So this one is kind of a labor of love because you have to allow it to set for a little bit so that it's scoopable, because if you try to handle it while it's still warm, it's just going to make a mess, and it's going to be like you got a handful of diarrhea. Oh my God, did I say that out loud? I did. I'm sorry, not sorry. All right. So now we got this. I see some movement in that. So we're just going to just turn that down, and we're going to just start slowly adding a little bit of this at a time, like maybe in 4 or 5 parts. Stirry stir. And next year, if I pull this off and there's enough interest, I will bring out the chocolate covered cherry recipe. But that has to be done in stages. It takes roughly about a month to 2 months to get that all nice and cured. And those are moonshine chocolate covered cherries. So I don't suggest giving these to your friends that are working on their sobriety, simply because you want to respect their wishes and to help them stay on their path. All right. And now we've got this all going nice and pretty. Now what we're looking to do is we're looking to get rid of all of the lumps Wow, that Crown Royal just hit me a little hard. Okay. Then again, all I had was a couple of scones this morning, little mini scones. All right. Now we don't want to let this sit on the stove for too long because then it's going to get all goobered up. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by handling it while it's still warm. And I'm going to get my Silpat because Silpats are so much easier to deal with. Got a gazillion of these damn Silpats. Okay, so let's see here. I'll try to line this up just so. Let's get that out of the way. Move dinner out of the way. All right. And we do a non-traditional Christmas Eve dinner just for the simple sake that usually we're pretty busy doing last minute gift wrapping and whatnots. And we just want to relax before we go and deal with the family. So now what you do is take this and you get an offset and you scrape it just like so. As you can see, it's very wet. Now, if you were to put it down on there and squeeze it, it's not gonna, well, I guess it could be all right. I mean, this is also not the greatest scooper either. I gotta get myself some new stainless steel ones. Just kind of round it off a little bit. What is that noise?
We throw in the cat box.
Are you serious? It sounds like he's trying to chew the door down.
No, he's
scratching. Okay. All right. So now if you wanted these to be more like balls, you could hand form them, but you're going to want to make sure that they cool off. Now, the other thing you could do is you could just spread it out into a pan and then just score it with a cutter when it's partly solid, like halfway through. So you can just break it apart, or you can put it into molds. I don't know where my molds went. So we're just going to stick with this. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to be truffles. So and this is probably the most time-consuming part right here, is getting them unstuck from this terrible. Get one of the good quality commercial ones, because that way you can actually scoop them a little bit better. And it looks like Andy Claus is out on the road again, waving to all the people out on St. Simon's Island. We can't physically be there, so we're kind of there in spirit. We helped with the teddy bears. For that. This is pretty spectacular. It's just such a magical moment in time, because it's like, it's like there's something just so terrific about, the innocence of children and, still believing in Santa. And there's just something special about that. So, if you want, you can also pipe this into a piping bag and kind of make a curly Q on the top and make them look like Hershey's Kisses if you want. Now, this is like I want to say it's a ½ ounce scoop. I would prefer a 1/4 ounce scoop, but that's okay. So then later, after they've cooled off thoroughly, what we're going to do is we could do one of several things. We could do just dust them in powdered sugar and cocoa powder, which is pretty standard. Or you can dip them in chocolate, but you're going to want to put them in the freezer and freeze them thoroughly if you're going to do that. Or you can just leave them as it is, or roll them in nuts, or sprinkle with nuts, or I wouldn't do sprinkles, but you could. These things do melt in your hand when you pick them up, so if there's something that you can do to help keep somebody from looking like they've had a little bit of an accident in the bathroom, ran out of toilet paper or what have you, what I would do is dust them with something. I know that Timmy just loves these things, but yeah. Do you remember that? I think it was Alyssa.
Yeah.
We were pretty drunk. Uh-oh, Hollyland attack. Oh, there we go. Good job, Derek. Good job. So, yeah. We're almost done here. These ones will probably end up going to the kids' house tomorrow. Some of the other liqueurs that you can use or liquors, you can use Fireball. What's the stuff that's got the gold flecks in it? Goldschlager. You do Goldschlager. You want to, Hollyland attack again. Oh, there we go. Wow. I think they're getting spanked by their connection. All right. Now we're down to the point where we don't really have a lot left. So we're just going to kind of help it along with the spatty spat. Pack it down. Plop it down. But definitely, if you feel like you want to make it more refined, you could definitely use molds. I would recommend putting it into a pastry bag and squirting in there and just tap it. I don't know where my molds are, so I would show you, but I can't do that right now. There we go. Oh, but can you drop that into a hot chocolate? Make like a hot chocolate truffle bomb? Well, yes, actually you can, but you'd have to get that milk awful hot. One of the other things you could do is you could take it and put it on the back of, put a good dollop on the back of a spoon and swipe it across the silpat and turn it into what looks like a petal to top for another dessert like tiramisu or chocolate mousse. You could also layer it between two different types of chocolate mousse, like a dark chocolate and a milk chocolate and a white chocolate. Just put like a very, very thin smear in between the layers so that, it's something that you dig down in there and there it is. It's like, oh, look at that. It's a little bit of happy right there. So, yeah, you can do a lot of things. And when you're washing this out, it's best to wash it out with very hot water. I would recommend getting like steaming hot water. We're actually going to be cooking spaghetti here pretty soon, so I'm just going to use the pasta water to help melt this down. Because too much chocolate down your drain, it can harden and mess up your pipes, for one. Number two, if you try to put Dawn dish soap in there, chocolate is a killer to soap bubbles. It basically renders it kind of useless. So, note to self, put new Scoopy Scoops on my holiday wish list. And keep this away from dogs. It's not something that you want them to get into. Chocolate is not good for dogs. So there we have it. Get that out of the way. And a couple of the things that you could do with this that would complement this flavor is to sprinkle some orange zest or even a little bit of lemon zest that's been microplaned over the tops, just to give it a little bit of color and a little bit of acid to it. Smudgy Mafia, here we go. There's the money shot right there. Chocolate truffles with blackberry Crown Royale. Smudgy Mafia, just want to say thank you so much for this year. It's been almost a year since we started this channel. I was gone for a couple months, but now I'm back, and I hope to see you all in the new year, and I hope you all have a wonderful and a safe and happy new year, and a happy holiday as well. So don't forget to cook with love and eat with passion. Have a good night.